Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 1 of Disney Villains Gaston. Now, as you know, Disney Villains Gaston is another series in the whole Disney Villains comic series, and I think the best way to describe Gaston from the Disney film Beauty and the Beast, he's basically a ecocentric, money grabbing, as well as a more deluded guy, thinking he's this figure of perfect perfection, but has one fatal flaw: his ego and his narcissism. And the story is obviously meant to show the dangers of being arrogant, stubborn, and not learning from mistakes, and where it can get you. So let's get on with the story. Mainly the story starts off with a kind elderly woman saying, "Ah, my pretties, such a lovely day, don't you think?" "What are you talking about? It's so boring." "Ah, I know. Ah, children." And we see how the kind old lady talks about the joys in that in life, but of course one thing spoils the sort of lesson, and it's Gaston showing off his ego, saying, "I've got big biceps, and all my teeth, and handsome pants." He's a bully and a rogue. His ego hard to miss. And of course, this is Gaston trying to paint himself as this heroic saviour. And one thing comes into Gaston's ego is someone to rival it. And of course, it's an officer of the King's Guard. And to Gaston, this feels like a personal attack. And even feels like he's basically met a rival. And we see how the officer says, "Take her to the stables, boy, and give her your finest oats." "Boy? How dare you?" Ugh. And of course, this is Gaston feeling like he's being insulted, so of course has a plan to sort of challenge him. So obviously lets his horse go, and we see how obviously the King's Guard tries to get it back, but of course realizes that, yeah, it's not his horse, so obviously has to rely on Gaston and Le Fou to get the horse back. And of course, this is Gaston thinking that he's gonna kind of make an easy win to make himself look good. And right away, we see how, because of his sort of arrogance and not really thinking this through, the horse could be anywhere. And right away, he ends up meeting the kind old woman, saying, "No, Gaston, these animals have done nothing to you, and trapping is forbidden in the forest. Go in peace and find your peace." And right away, Gaston fails to kind of listen to reason, and of course tries to kind of get the horse, knocking the kind old lady. But of course, this is from someone who has wisdom and experience, and says one of the hardest truth morals, that some people just need to learn the hard way, which is true. You can give people words of advice and wisdom, it's either they'll take it or have to kind of learn from it, from their sort of flaws, the hard way or the hardest. And right away, because of Gaston not really paying attention, he ends up trapping another one of the King's Guard's horses. And right away, both Gaston and Le Fou end up being captured and are sent right to the dungeon. And we see how one of the king's aides hear about this kind old lady and wants to kind of help them in return. And of course, this is him seeing it as another opportunity to get out. And him saying, "But I am looking for men desperate, skilled enough to go to a ridiculously dangerous and an important task. Also, you know, this damp in this cell, it's good for my asthma." And we see how he wants the pendant and will do anything to get it. So this is Gaston and Le Fou putting themselves in danger again due to Gaston not really thinking through the lesson the first time or the second. And right away, Gaston sees the horse again, and of course end up in a more darker, corrupted forest. And right away, we see how Gaston meets the kind old lady and a weird stranger. So of course, this is Gaston aiming to get the pendant. But of course, the person basically kicks down Gaston and wants to kind of get his weaponry. But we see how the kind old lady saying, "I can see despite my best efforts, it's just not getting through to you." And decides to offer Gaston tea. And despite obviously knowing that this is obviously like a trick, the only person to speak from wisdom as well as knowledge is Le Fou. And right away, Gaston does the stupidest thing, drink an entire beaker of it. And right away, turns out that the weird person was actually the horse. And the kind old lady point out that she's the alchemist, and Gaston having to learn the consequences as well as the sort of feel of what happens to animals when they get hunted. And Gaston goes from being a hunter to a cute little animal and saying, "Oh no, LeFou, help!" Ending the story. And my best thoughts about issue 1, it's pretty enjoyable. Again, the whole point of the story's message is that, yeah, you can offer people words of advice, wisdom, as well as sort of suggestions. It's up to the person if they're going to take it, and if they have to learn it the hard way or the harder way, it's them having to kind of now see and learn the consequences, not from their actions, but their mistakes, what they do, and how it can affect, hurt, or push other people away. Definitely a good story, something enjoyable, so it definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Book Reviewer here, signing out.